Remember when YouTube was littered with prank videos? Jesse Sebastiani was a founding member of Nelk, a Canadian YouTube prank channel that had big hits on videos like Coke Prank on Cops and 7 Ways to Compliment Boobs. Yeah, it might not be the most intellectually stimulating content, but Jesse and the rest of the Nelk crew are actually genius businessmen.
I feel like you're not taking me seriously, man. Yo, $800 and a fucking pack of my dad's cigars. Let's go.
Jesse was the main creative force behind the merchandise line for Nelk, eventually being branded as Full Send, a motto similar to previous youthful mantras like go big or go home. As their videos became more absurd and fratty, so did their clothing. While many YouTube clothing merch is just a quick cash grab from impressionable audiences, Jesse clearly had pride in the clothing they made. When they first began offering merch, often the clothes simply featured their slogan or made reference to something in popular culture. The merch was not the most creative from a design perspective, but the real creativity was from Nelk's ability to translate and market the lifestyle they portrayed on their videos onto a t-shirt. That seems like total baloney, but once you see a horde of teenage boys in their Full Send merch, it all starts to make sense. The clothing represented being in a cool and rebellious club, something all teenage boys want to be a part of. Nelk's merchandise sales reached $70 million in 2020, making it one of the most successful online apparel businesses in the world.
This is kind of sick.
It literally means nothing, so.
Yeah.
The Nelk Boys are some of the real kings of turning a YouTube audience into consumers of legitimate businesses. Mr. Beast might get all the praise for his successes, but relatively speaking, Nelk's significantly smaller audience has been catapulted into bigger businesses. Nelk still makes prank videos, but like their audience, they are growing up, and their version of growing up means partying as much as possible, with drinking being a core focus of their brand. So what do smart, youthful businessmen do with a large audience that thinks drinking is the coolest thing ever? Start their own drink company. In 2021, Happy Dad, a hard seltzer brand, was launched under the ownership of Nelk. While this brand has been even more successful, with a rumored $250 million valuation and selling over 2.6 million 12-packs in 2022, one thing was notably absent: Jesse. Jesse was arrested for a prank back in 2018, and many fans speculated this was the start to his slow separation from the group. It seemed as Nelk continued to evolve, they focused on going more mainstream and began rubbing shoulders with celebrities, including interviewing former President Donald Trump. For all of this, Jesse was nowhere to be seen. We would later come to find out that Jesse wasn't fond of this new direction that the Nelk business was heading in. The clout chasing was one thing, but their brand seemed to revolve around partying, while at the same time Jesse began struggling with depression and anxiety, exacerbated by a battle with alcoholism. Jesse had moved behind the camera, focusing on their clothing line, and Nelk continued on with their heavy drinking focus.
It's like, the way I look at it too is like, if I'm quitting drinking for a bit, it's not that serious, but like, if you're quitting heroin, you don't go hang out with a bunch of people doing heroin, you know what I mean? Like you gotta go change people you surround yourself with.
He ended up being kind of replaced by Steve Will Do It, a now banned YouTube creator who grew famous for underage drinking. Jesse eventually had enough and sold his equity in Nelk for an undisclosed major payday. Somewhat ironically, Jesse kept his shares of Happy Dad, but why would you give that up given how fast it's growing? His sizable undisclosed exit from Nelk meant he could retire his family, but also follow his true passion, getting back into the clothing business. Jesse began working on a new venture called Sunday, and it wasn't exactly clear what it was supposed to be.
And I apologize to everyone for making this company like so difficult to understand, but I think that's the fun part. Like you're following a brand and then you figure something out, or like, oh, what the name means, what this means, and like, oh, this does this, and I think that's what pulls you into a brand. At least when I was a kid, that's what was exciting about it.
Okay, you know what? That's not helpful. Okay, fine.
While Jesse himself struggles to define what exactly Sunday is, we think it's best described as an end-to-end clothing creation company. What's unique about Sunday is that they are completely vertically integrated, meaning they own the entire process of clothing creation from the idea stage to the distribution of the final product. If you were a creator or business and wanted to launch your own clothing merch, you would have to find a creative agency to make some designs, then you would have to get them printed onto blanks, then distribute them to your fans. There are lots of companies that will assist you with one of those stages, but few are good at doing the entire process all together. What Jesse is doing with Sunday is becoming a one-stop shop for all phases of clothing creation. By having everything done in-house, Sunday ensures that the clothes are consistent with the brand's vision and style. They also hope it will save time and money by eliminating the middleman and reducing the communication gaps. Honestly, Jesse's company is kind of confusing, and it doesn't help that there's actually two companies, Sunday and their own streetwear brand called Bloody Sunday.
Very confusing.
Bloody Sunday sells their own designs under a one-time Supreme-style drop system where each style of clothing has limited availability for only a short time. Why do they do this? Well, for two reasons. One, because Jesse loves designing clothes and he's good at it, so it's only logical for him to be selling them directly. And two, and most importantly, they use Bloody Sunday as a showcase for their blanks. They take the clothes they made for Bloody Sunday, strip away the design, and assign them a stock-keeping unit code. They then offered these blanks to other brands who want to use Sunday for their merch line. So, if you're a creator or a business and you want to use Sunday for your merch line, you can choose from their high-quality blanks sorted by SKU, put your own design on them, and sell them to your fans. Or, if you don't have a design yet, you can let Sunday's creative agency come up with one for you.
That's actually not a bad idea.
While Sunday certainly didn't invent a one-stop shop for clothing creation, they are attempting to revolutionize merchandise lines from a quality and price perspective. If you look at clothing merch from big creators like Mr. Beast or Logan Paul, the clothing itself is super generic. Realistically, you probably own the same sweaters and shirts already because they use the same blanks as every other company, but this time you have some half-assed Mr. Beast or Logan Paul design on it. The margins are quite high on the shirts because they just print a design onto a generic cheap t-shirt, but it's unlikely you'll actually see people wearing those shirts for a long time. What Sunday wants to do is take those merch lines and turn them into a legitimate brand you'd be proud to wear. Often, YouTube creators only look at merchandise as an easy, low-effort stream of income, but not always. Some big creators really care about the quality of the clothes. Take Teddy Fresh, the clothing company founded by Ethan and Neela from the channel H3H3, and Cloak, founded by two of the biggest gaming YouTubers, Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. Their quality is clearly superior, and what's most important is that they've successfully separated the creator from the merch line while keeping the spirit of the audience in mind. Teddy Fresh doesn't have a picture of Ethan ripping a big vape cloud on its sweaters, nor does Cloak have a picture of a cool gamer on theirs. While many think Jesse leaving Nelk was a foolish decision, you have to remember that their merchandise line is what allowed them to grow into the major business they are today. You can thank Jesse for that. What he is doing with Sunday very well could be the way for other creators to follow in their footsteps. While for most, Sunday might just be another day in the week, for Jesse, it's a way of life.